Hey, it is saying it's live. Let me go in and see on Facebook if we're live there.
We are.
We are? Okay, you're in the group?
Yep.
Okay, well then, I can't see it yet, but I just want to say hello to everybody and welcome. You got Tawana and I in here early. So the reason we're early today is because I am trying out Restream. So what happens is, um, we are on one platform and we are simultaneously casting or webcasting to Facebook groups, Facebook page, YouTube page, and Periscope all at one time. So you could find us on Black 10K Project in order to get that. And we're going to wait for our co-founders to come in.
It looks like Talisha is joining us in the chat tonight. She said hello. Hello.
Okay. Hello, Talisha. I'm sorry you can't be on with us tonight, but yes, I am here. I'm actually in Facebook as well, so I can see it now. I see Audrey is here with us tonight. I don't know. I think I'm on the page and not on the group. So you and I will have to divide and conquer.
Okay.
And I might be able to see people in the chat on Restream. Let me see here. I don't want to touch this and then mess it up. But let's see here. Yeah, that's not going to work. So, okay, well, you know what? We're just going to roll with it. We're just going to roll with it. Okay, so
hopefully everybody's doing well tonight.
Yes, hopefully everyone's doing well. Now, so I'm only used to having to pay attention to one location. So now it's going to be like, oh, we have all these different places, and I got to figure out how to be able to look at everyone's comments at the same time. So that'll be the next big thing. But y'all know me, I'm a little technology challenged. But once I figure it out, like, I'm cool. So yeah. But I'm like, other people can do these things. Why can't I? It's annoying. It's so annoying. Like there are things that I want to do and I'm like, I don't understand how these people are able to do it over here and I can't, So yeah. So what, Tawana, has been happening on your end? How's life? How are things going in your city?
The city stuff is rough. I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky, where Breonna Taylor was killed. And so the movement is real in Louisville, Kentucky right about now. They got a law passed, so they got rid of the no-knock policy that was in place, so that was a win. Still waiting for justice to show itself in other ways, however.
Yeah.
But life is good because I can see progress in a lot of different ways, even in very small ways across the country. Any little bit counts in my world, and seeing some small wins matter. It's not enough, but it definitely makes a difference. That saying, baby steps, is I see it happening. I mean, I've been joking all week. I mean, when they give you a Black bachelor, you know.
I had forgotten about that, but yes, you're right. we have a Black bachelor.
You get a Black bachelor.
Black male bachelor, because there's Black female. Yes. Yes.
Yes. My joke all week is like, yeah, that's what we've been asking for.
No, not in the
not
least.
Even close, right?
No.
But it just shows that even even people who may not believe they have the power to make big changes, they're trying to change their small piece of the world, right?
Yes.
And so there's goodness in that. As much as I joked about it this week, I do find the goodness in that was important for someone. Someone sat around a conference room table, right? And they fought for that. That wasn't an easy fight. Someone pled their case and they won their case, even for the Black bachelor.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I think that this is how change starts, though. It's something happening, whether we saw certain things happening in the civil rights movement, and we had Medgar Evers or other leaders dying, or Rosa Parks in the Montgomery bus boycott, and from there things happened. All of a sudden, people began to see, like, their eyes were opened to, okay, this is not right. This is not right. And then the other thing is, us being humanized as well. So I had a very interesting conversation with someone earlier today, and he is a Black father who has kids in a private school. And his kids, the private school has set up a diversity committee, and they're asking, what can we do? And those of y'all know I'm a business plan writer. I wrote this guy's business plan a few years ago, and he came back to me saying, you're the only person I could think of who could write something like this, because, I guess he feels like I'm smart and I can figure it out, right? But you talk about people kind of doing their part. This is them, the school, which is mostly white, but they have some Black kids and some Black teachers doing their part, saying, okay, what can we do? Right. So the first thing they did was they interviewed the teachers, the Black teachers and some of the Black students, and they came up with a list. But then he's saying to me, Cherie, we can't just give them this list and say, now you do something about all of this. We have to give them a plan. And I think that that's important for us as Black people. I think as Black people, we need to be able to recommend things to those who have power, who are asking. We cannot just simply expect people to come up with stuff out of thin air, because then when they come up with stuff out of thin air and we don't like what they've come up with, then, there's a problem as well. Mm-hmm. The second thing I will say is, and this may trigger some people, but I'll just say it because I do believe it in my heart, and it was a conversation I had earlier today. I remember when Trump was elected, I ended up having dinner with a white evangelical longtime friend of mine. And we're longtime friends enough where she can ask me questions about Black. I can ask her questions about white evangelical. So we were trying to understand each other. And, I was trying to understand why she voted for Trump. And she was explaining to me why she voted for Trump and why, her demographic did. And I said, this is a great thing. I think that every white person should have the Black friend that they can go to and ask questions without being called racist, or without the white friend feeling like they're racist. If they truly have a good heart and they're just like, I'm curious, I don't understand this. And I think that a lot of white people don't have that counterbalance. Like when my grandmother was growing up, she was, either a housekeeper or a nurse for white families. So they got to experience her and she got to experience them. And then there was some understanding of the cultures, So I know this has kind of gone off on a tangent a little bit, and I want to say hello to everybody, but
hi everyone. I think you're right though. I mean, what you're talking about is the conversation, right? And communicating. And it is a different communication when it's an employee-employer relationship.
Yeah, that's right? Not what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But to be able to have someone that you trust enough to get their perspective, because it's not good, even when you talk to a Black person, it's not the Black perspective, it's that person's perspective. And I always have to remember that. And the same thing I would imagine when you talk to a Caucasian person, it's that person's perspective. But even that one perspective can change a mind, right?
Yeah.
And it matters. And that's how you gain understanding. Now, I have a firm belief that I don't talk to brick walls. So when someone is just really resistant, then I tap out quick because I don't have time, right? My time is valuable. But when you find someone that really wants to learn and understand how their privilege has allowed them to be who they are and to have the things they have and how others don't have, and when you can explain that conversation of racism and how it's systemic, right? And you can give historic facts, right? It's not anecdotes. It's not hypotheticals. You can factually outline all of the instances where it has occurred and continues to occur. And when you have someone receptive and open, that's how change begins. And if we could all find one person to have that conversation with, it can start the tide turning. It didn't take us overnight to get here, and you damn sure believe it's not going to take us overnight to get out of it. No. So, we got to stay the course. So kudos to the protesters, kudos to those of us maybe not marching, but we're protesting with our dollars. I have not been more real about this Buy Black thing. And it's not easy. I've said that before, and it ain't getting no easier, right? It's been a couple of months, and it is equally as difficult as the first time I said I'm buying black no matter what. We have had a couple of bad meals in the name of buying black. We have had some bad service, and then we've had some amazing service, right? People who I'm going to call back and already have called back to say, I want something else. Like, what else can you give me, right? What else can you do? And so that's the same with any demographic when we're in the service, as a consumer. But it is, that's my mission, is that my dollars are going to talk for me for as long as I can live the rest of this life. They will continue to talk to me. We scheduled our first appointment for a pedicure at a Black salon. I have been guilty in the past of going to the Asian salon. Very nice Asian family. They never did anything to me. I don't know how they treated other people. I've never seen them do anything bad. Know you by name. Saw him at the Pride event. He came up and said hi. So a nice guy. And it's not that these businesses that I choose to no longer patronize are bad, because I don't accept bad service, right? So everybody I give my Black dollars to has always been good to me. But I'm just making a concerted effort that it's Buy Black for my family. It just has to be. It just has to be.
And Tawana, you really bring up a good point, because I think our country right now is so polarized that it makes it seem like everything's red or blue. And the truth is in the purple, and it's not just black and it's white, it's in the gray. It's in those places where we can come together and then from there be able to have these conversations. And I'm telling you, I just got I was in an interview where I got to speak to new educators, and actually to the association over educators. And it was a really deep discussion about these topics. And it was just wonderful that the moment allows for it, for the ear. So like you were saying, Cherie, we have a responsibility actually, so that when somebody asks you how you're doing or whatever, that it's not a rhetorical question, that you take that opportunity and
tell
out. Yeah. And it's been that kind of thing. So
Well, let's get started. First of all, hello to everybody. Welcome to the 10K Project. Woo! All right, so these are our weekly live Q&As. We kind of went a little bit differently for the beginning, but we also want to give people a chance to hop on. So at the 10K Project, we are a community of Black investors who are funding Black businesses for as little as $100. So I am here with 3 of my 4 co-founders, Tawana Rivers, Eric Spence, Dr. Keisha Waddell. So I'm saying hello to all of them. So the way that we do this is, Eric, you got some feedback there. Yeah, thank you. So the way that we do our live Q&As is I go through a presentation, takes anywhere from 9 to 10 minutes for me to get through it, tell you everything that's happening. I have some updates to tell you. We are officially live streaming on YouTube, 3 Facebook groups, Facebook page, and Periscope. We're on Black 10K Project in all places. So you're able to find us multi-streaming. And, you know, we're going to have that presentation take about, I would say 10 minutes, just to get everybody up to speed, let you know where we are in the process, where we're going. And then as I'm giving the presentation, please put your city and state in the chat. Please put your city and state in the chat. And also, if you have questions, please ask us, because this is our Q&A session, especially for the new people who are here. We had a huge bump over the weekend of new people coming to the Black 10K Project, and we want to welcome you. And then I'm going to give my co-founders a chance to talk about who they are, why they're part of the 10K Project. We're going to answer questions, and, you know, we'll have a good time. Okay. All righty then. So let me come here, and I'm obviously doing various different things tonight. I finally got this in PowerPoint. So, okay. So welcome to the 10K Project. We are a community of Black investors who are funding Black businesses for as little as $100, because Black businesses are the least likely to get funding than any other ethnicity. However, there was a Morgan Stanley report that said, when our businesses are properly funded, we make just as much money, we do just as well as any other ethnically founded business. However, traditional investors are not paying attention, and their loss is our gain. We have the opportunity to fund our own businesses, to profit from our own innovation, to create our own jobs, and to help close the wealth gap. So the 10K Project is a very simple concept. When 10,000 of us get together, we put in $100 each, that's $1 million. We can change the game. And that is what we are here to do. So we can be the solution to our own problem, and we can earn a return on investment. How do we do that? We're building something called an equity crowdfunding platform. So let's break this down. What is crowdfunding? Crowdfunding is very simple. It's when a lot of people together and a lot of people get together, we put in small amounts of money in order to reach some sort of goal. So GoFundMe is considered crowdfunding. However, if you give to someone in GoFundMe, it is a donation. You don't have any ownership in anything. You've just done something nice. We are doing something where we're able to crowdfund and we're able to own pieces of the Black businesses that are coming on this platform and that are going to be a part of this ecosystem. In order to do this, we have to get Securities and Exchange Commission approval, or SEC approval. And there are forms and applications that we are currently completing in order to get that approval. So the 10K Project, how does it work? It's basically broken down into, I call them 5 steps. The first step is membership. Everybody who is a part of our ecosystem is required to be a member of the 10K Project. There is a one-time lifetime fee of $100. You will never ever be charged for membership again. Once you become a member, you get culturally relevant investor education. And we're going to break down in a few slides what that investor education will consist of. But it's all around us getting our money right and building generational wealth. Then, as a member, you get to participate in something called Bet on Black Pitches. So what are those? Entrepreneurs will come to our platform. They can come for, as little as $10,000 all the way up to $1,070,000. And they will come and they will do a pitch live in front of the entire community. In this pitch, they will talk about, their business, how long they've been in business, what their product or service is, who their competition is, who's on their team, why are they qualified to be on their team, what their business and revenue model is, how will we get our money back, when will we get our money back, how much are they raising, what are they going to do with the money. All the things you see on Shark Tank will be done in these Bet on Black pitches. And then you as the audience have an opportunity again in a live session to ask the entrepreneur questions about their business. You'll be able to read their business plan. You'll be able to go through their financials, and you can decide at that point if you want to bet on that Black business. So that's what we call it, the Bet on Black pitches. So then even after the pitches are done live, you may say, you know what, I have a question. I forgot to ask this question, but I have an additional question. That's perfectly fine, because by SEC law, we are required to keep that investment opportunity open for a certain period of time. So you're able to go and ask the entrepreneur additional questions, and that entrepreneur will respond to you. And they'll most likely respond to not only you, but the entire community, so that the entire community can read the answers to those questions. Then after the businesses are funded, we didn't want to just leave them, with no support, just floundering. So there will be business support after funding. It could be anything from a person or a company needing social media help, to a company needing help getting on the shelves of Walmart and Target, to a company needing to they're trying to get government contracts and they need support doing that. Whatever is needed, we will have a list of partners who are able to support those businesses. Now, by SEC law, we cannot force any business to take this support. However, we will let companies know that they are not in this alone, and they should consider taking the support if it's needed within their business, because they're not only, messing around with their own money, now they've got the community's money. And we want to make sure that they have what they need to, grow our dollars 3x, 5x, 10x, 20x, et cetera. And then part 5 is the return on investment. That's when we get our money back. Now, we cannot guarantee you will get a return on investment. You have to be prepared to lose it all. However, one of the things we're going to be doing in the investor education is giving you the best practices of other professional angel investors, so that you can build a portfolio of companies based on your risk tolerance level and the types of companies that you believe are going to be successful. So we can't guarantee a return on investment, but the goal is, and the way professional investors usually work is, out of every 10 companies, they expect 6 to fail, they expect 3 to do moderately well, and they expect 1 to do exceptionally well. So that is, again, some of the best practices that will be taught in the education section. So at the 10K Project, we are the home of the everyday VC. A VC is a venture capitalist, and people on Shark Tank are considered VCs. Well, you know what? You're a VC as well. You're an everyday VC. So that's why we call the 10K Project the home of the everyday VC. We get this question often, so I just want to reiterate this. What does membership get you? It gets you a seat at the table with us. It gets you the financial literacy education, that culturally relevant investor education we talked about, and it gives you the opportunity to hear all the pitches on our platform and invest in any and all of the businesses on the platform for life. You'll never ever be charged again for membership. So, Cherie, what's in this membership education? Well, we're going to discuss things like making more money, saving money, reducing debt, repairing credit, reducing taxes, developing money-savvy kids, starting family banks, the best practices for analyzing deals on the platform, building strong investment portfolios, creating and preserving family wealth, group economics 2.0, and so much more. If you're looking for a great place, a great foundation for your financial literacy education, this is going to be the place to be. And it's, again, $100 one-time lifetime fee, and we'll most likely always be adding to the membership education. So let's talk about some of the milestones that we have. The membership is open. You can go to the10kproject.com in order to become a member. We also have our members only area open. Now, I sent an email to everyone earlier today. I know that we're having an issue with that. I'm working now with Facebook in order to fix it. So please give me time to work with Facebook to figure out what's happening there. But we do have, for some of you, you're able to get into the members only area. We also are going to have our publicity tour that's starting the summer of 2020. Actually, it started last week. And it's going to go through the fall of 2020. And next week, we are going to make a big announcement about our publicity tour. So y'all got to come back next week. The fall, we're also going to release the majority of our investor education. And we are going to release our business owner's guide to being on the platform. So I know I have a lot of people contacting me saying they're entrepreneurs. How can they get funding? That guide is going to be released in the fall so that you can start getting ready. But you can actually start getting ready now if you think you're an entrepreneur and you think you want to be on the platform. Start researching how to get on crowdfunding platforms. There are certain documents and certain items that the Securities and Exchange Commission requires. So I would suggest you definitely take a look at that. And then the spring 2021, we're expecting our FINRA and SEC approval and investments to begin. Now, according to the SEC website, it says 6 months for approval. However, with COVID and all the other things happening, we want to give ourselves a bit of a buffer. But as soon as the SEC approves us, we're going to be ready to go. Okay? So you can help us by doing a few things. Number one is becoming a founding member. Again, membership, one-time lifetime fee of $100. The first 1,000 people are founding members. And we are, all of us, all the co-founders have invested money into this, but we could use the community support as well in order to, number one, prove that we're going to have the community involvement in this. And number two, it also helps us, just get the word out. The money is going to be used to do more marketing, to really get the word out. You can also join us on Facebook and Instagram. Some of you are here on Facebook already. We have an Instagram account. It's Black 10K Project. You can check us there. We have a YouTube account, Black 10K Project. We have Periscope. If you like Periscope, Black 10K Project, Black 10K Project everywhere. Also, we want you to share it with your like-minded family and friends. And if you have a pastor, a bishop, a community organizer, you're part of a fraternity, a sorority, please, we are looking for introductions to those leaders. info@the10kproject.com is my address, my email address. You can find me there. If you listen to a podcast that is about money that you really love, we would love an opportunity to be there too. No podcast too small, no interview too small, no blog too small, no Facebook page too small. Tawana and I and Dr. Keisha and whomever else, we will show up. So please, any and everybody that you can introduce us to that has any kind of a platform, we would love to meet with them. So again, it's info@the10kproject.com. And with that, I'm going to have the beautiful Tawana Rivers. She is our Chief Operating Officer. Introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are and why you're part of the 10K Project.
As Cherie said, I'm Tawana Rivers, the Chief Operating Officer of the 10K Project. And, you know, I'm an HR professional by trade, you know, all things HR, you know, from operations to vendor management to project management to, you know, benefits management, all the HR things, right? People management more than anything else. And, you know, I look at the Black community and we have been and continue to be left behind, right? And what the 10K Project has the ability to do for us, it will allow us to stop fighting for this equality that we so desire, right? And so you may say, well, how the heck is it gonna do that? You know, I'm 50 years old. We've been fighting this equality fight long before I was born, right? It's all I know. It's all I know, wanting and desiring from myself, from my child, for the rest of my family. And if we can get that early seat at the table, right? And we get that opportunity to invest, and economically we advance, we get a chance at this equality we've been looking for. We get a chance, right? Because we'll be on a level playing field economically. And we've seen a lot of, you know, movement talk these last couple of months about buying Black and keeping our dollars in the community and, you know, hitting them where it hurts. And if they don't understand our worth and our value, that Black dollar leaving their businesses and coming to ours will make the difference. That's the 10K Project, right? We're exposing you to other entrepreneurs all across this country who have amazing ideas, either services or products, but amazing ideas. And they need our help because they need the funding to get to the next level of their business, right? They can't do it alone. They need us to do it. And the best way I know how to do it is to do it and get something in return. Equity, right? So the community at large is all advancing at the same time, right? The business is advancing. So when they advance, what happens? They can hire, maybe they'll hire Black, right? When we invest and they start doing great business, we advance because that equity now has great value, right? And we continue to invest more and in more and in more companies, and that continues to advance us economically. That's where the change is going to happen. I think asking for equality is not going to it's not going to work. We've been asking for a long time. Now we have to demand it, and we've got the power to demand it. We're coming together in numbers that are blowing me away. In some of these groups I'm seeing on Facebook, you know, where 1.6 million people have gotten, like-minded people have gotten together. And in this group of strangers, they're talking about building businesses and all this wonderful stuff. The momentum is there. We just have to stay the course. And the 10K Project is one of many ways to do that. But we are definitely a good option.
Thank you. And Dr. Keisha Waddell, she is our Chief Instructional Officer, and she's going to bring all of this wonderful membership education to us. So Dr. Keisha, tell us who you are and why you're part of the 10K Project.
Yes, again, Dr. Keisha, Chief Instructional Officer of the 10K Project. And I am actually a educator, you know, by profession, special education in particular. And, you know, working with our folks, you know, our community, education and just being exposed to information is the key piece. Certainly we have the internet, and other people look at us, other communities look at us and say, well, you know, everything's out there, you know, you just have to look it up. Well, we know for us, that while that's true, it's really helpful for us to come together and learn together. Learning is really a collaborative experience, and it's a social experience. And the information that we have to share based on our the extra experiences, because we really do have a community of investors who have different experiences, not just new investors, but we have accredited investors. You know, with all the information that seems so negative around our community, you know, which is founded, the facts are there. The fact of the matter is that on the other side of those numbers, we are there. And so when we come together and we can each one reach one and each one teach one, we can bring up the whole community. Because in terms of my feeling about being in this project is that I happen to know I believe in our Black excellence. I happen to know that we've always had Black excellence in our communities. It's just that, you know, after segregation, a lot of it would go elsewhere. And this is kind of where we found ourselves. We've got a brain drain. We talk about brain drain even in my state, just in general, when there's places where there's not a lot of opportunity, people go where opportunity is, and it causes a bit of a drain. So here's our time, here's our opportunity, here's a moment where we can come back together. You know, we know everything is data driven now. We got all the data that says this, that, and the other. And now we can see the power that we really, really have, you know, and leveraging the technology, just like Twana was talking about, these groups have been tremendous. And the biggest thing is the like-mindedness. You know, it's just been wonderful. So I'm excited that we are, as a group, our group here have come together to take advantage of this time to really work on the economic piece of our Black agenda, which is totally key. You know, we've got the smartest people, we the hardest working people. It's time to work in this area with all of that excellence. So I invite you to certainly, please tell your like-minded friends about the project. Get in touch with us to be sure, because these projects are all individual sales going on all over the place. But if we can really come together here, this could be one such place that at least all the Black entrepreneurs can come through, and all of us at the table willing and able to fund them can get the first dibs on it. So welcome, welcome.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Keisha.
Sure.
Final person I have on the screen here is Mr. Eric Spence. He is the Chief Business Development Officer. So for all the entrepreneurs out there, he is the one that's putting together the guide for you to get on the platform. So Eric, tell everyone who you are and why you're part of the 10K project.
Hi, everyone. Eric Spence, Chief Business Development Officer here at the 10K project. Let me tell you, I am here because I truly, deeply believe in just Black ingenuity. This past weekend, I was studying and doing a lot of reading on Gareth Morgan. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with Gareth Morgan or not. I call him the Black Edison. He created everything from the stoplight to the gas mask, where the smoke hood is what they would use, and they would end up using his technology to create the gas mask, and they would end up using this in World War II. Hair straightening products, all sorts of stuff, and a wide range of it. And, you know, when I think about it, like, who here has used, you know, benefit, or I guess used the stoplight or blown through the stoplight? You know, I'm just saying, but the point is, listen, but you would also say, okay, who here is benefiting right now? I mean, from a monetary standpoint, from the patent that the stoplight, you know, uses? Hardly any of us. And I think about that now because I think about how many Black inventors are out there right now, where he or she is going to create something that's going to be completely revolutionary. And for us as a community, we will play a part in funding that project and seeing he or she go out and really live their life to real greatness. But we're also really play a part too in benefiting directly from that, from a monetary standpoint. And things like that just really excite me, because as you begin to peel back through history, we find that so often that kind of thing was cut off. I remember, reading about this with Garrett Morgan. Like, one of the things that they did was they were going to give him this huge award for and recognize his invention of the stoplight. You got to think about how crazy it was that they didn't have it. So now, you're going stopping. I don't know what I should do, and smash. Right. But anyway, once they found out it was a Black man, they just stopped, and everyone just like went away. They just walked away. All of the press walked away. Everything, they just completely just walked away from them, and that kind of thing. And how many of those stories have happened through the years, have persisted through the years, have affected all of us through the years, where a lot of these names have been pretty much smothered up and covered up. Now, and let me just say this, part of the project too, and I will say this is, we will shout it from the rooftops when that successful person happens. They will get a chance then to really put themselves out in the forefront to receive the notoriety that they have really earned. And you yourself as an investor will get a chance to say, hey man, I'm a part of that. And be able to tell your friends and your family and your children, I'm a part of that. I remember that when here she brought that in, and I went and I looked at it and I evaluated it, and I said, hey, you know what? It does make sense to me. And you know what? I'm willing to invest in it. And now look where it's become now. And you'll be able to tell that story. So this project itself has just multi-layers to it. And I'm just really excited to be a part of it overall.
Yeah, Eric, when you just said, they walked away from it, it made me think about all the times we've been thrown away because we weren't convenient. And then all the times we've been embraced because the opportunity was a good one. And I think about this last week or two on, various crowdfunding platforms. I've been in crowdfunding investing for 2 years now. I have not seen more Black people highlighted in the last 2 weeks than I had 2 whole years. You got to search for them. But in the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden they got special meetings when they showing us the Black entrepreneurs, the 2 that they have on their platform, right? They show, well, if lucky if they got 5. We saw one the other night that had 5. And I just, while I loved watching the entrepreneurs and even invested in some, it irked me that we're only convenient when we're convenient.
Yeah.
Right. Like it just at my soul, it bothered me. Yeah. And we just have to start demanding something different and stop allowing them to use us for convenience and for their own gain. Enough is enough.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. Agree more. Can I say one thing too? I watched this. I wouldn't call it a documentary, but I think it was a short overview on Black Wall Street. I think the YouTube channel, I think is Black Excellence, and it has another word behind it. But they were talking about how, because I like to deconstruct things and how things come together. Because I don't like when people just tell me the beginning. I'm like, okay, great. How did they get there? I want to know the steps. I want to know the mechanics. I want to look at that and really break it down. But one of the things they really talked about too was 2 of the guys who came together. They were very different politically. One was more of a Booker T. Washington type fellow, and the other one's a W.E.B. Du Bois type. But they understood to put that to the side and to understand that the betterment of the Black community was where their focus needed to be, that they both had different ways and viewing things. And that was just a component that was really interesting to me, that really stood out, was watching that, because it's those kind of stories that we take those and then we extract from them, and then we get to, really apply that in our own present day lives. So
I couldn't agree more. I personally could care less if you're a Democrat or a Republican. I could care less if you live in the South or the Northeast or the Northwest or whatever. I think that there are things that we can all agree on. And from what I'm hearing from both sides of the aisle and all parts of the country, like-minded people, we agree on 90 to 92% of everything anyway. Correct. What I see though is we're not coordinated. Like in the civil rights movement, I had been doing just some basic studying like a few years ago about that, just listening to some podcasts. They were coordinated. you had Dr. King, who coordinated with Malcolm X, even though people want to pretend like they were opposite ends of the system. Part of the reason King was able to do what he was able to do so effectively was because he had Malcolm over here, and the government was looking at them both going, well, who do we want to work with? And I'm not suggesting we have Malcolm today, but you also had Thurgood Marshall, who were fighting the same things in the court system versus King fighting them, through protests and things like that. But everybody had the same thing that they were working on. So, I do ask, okay, well, from an economics point of view, because I'm always about economics, what is the thing or the 2 or 3 things that we all, 10.8 million Black people that I've discovered in my research could get together and say, okay, these are the 2 things we really want economically that would really help us, and what does that look like? So I do want to let people know, I'm going to share my screen again here. Juneteenth is coming up on Friday. We're having a special live around Economic Freedom 2.0. It's going to be on our Facebook, our Periscope, our YouTube. We're going to do the restream again because it seems like it's working tonight. So on Friday at noon, we're going to talk about Economic Freedom 2.0. And I'm going to work on something really special, which is letting people call in to give us their opinion about Economic Freedom 2.0. Now, you can't be long-winded.
Now, y'all. We're big time.
Man, 2-way conversation. Watch out.
You can't be long-winded on Friday. I'm gonna have a little bell, and when your time is done, your time is done. However, I will be giving away the phone number, and you will be able to call in. And I honestly thought about just making it a member-only benefit, but I think I'll open it up to everybody. But I want to talk about Economic Freedom 2.0. In my opinion, 1.0 is we should buy Black. Yeah, okay, that's great. But let's take it up a notch, Okay, so what else? What else should we be doing? What else should we be asking for? I'm going to be doing some research this week around what other groups are saying and kind of bring that to the forefront. I want to hear what you think as a community, and we want to tie it into the 10K project. What types of businesses should we be funding that would really help with economic achievement? Or greater economic achievement. So again, we're just going to be throwing out ideas, and it's not necessarily what industry we should invest in or anything like that, but we want to hear what people have to say, because I honestly believe a couple of things. Number one, I believe that this group will have 1 million Black people in 2 years. I honestly believe it. Number two, if we play our cards right, we should be able to raise $1 billion a year. I know, I'm throwing it out there. That's a huge number. But with that, imagine the numbers of jobs that are going to be created. Roland Martin had a segment on a few months ago. 4.3 million Black people are going to lose their job in the next decade due to artificial intelligence. I spoke with someone last week who has been in staffing and recruiting for the last 20 years. She told me that the staffing industry is starting to move into training because people are going to seriously need to be reskilled and retrained. My question to all of you is, if we know this train is coming and they're saying Black wealth is going to zero, of course it's going to zero if you don't have a job. And if you don't have the skills that people need. So what can we do to stave some of that off? So again, that'll be my rant on Friday. And then we'll open up the phone lines. We'll have people call in, give your thoughts and opinions with regards to this. It's going to be a great time. So that is Juneteenth. That is Friday, noon Eastern time. Definitely Tawana is going to be here, and definitely Eric is going to be here to have that conversation. So I want to open it up to my other co-presenters. I do want to say hello to people in, I can see here Audrey Taylor, John Miner, Vanessa Skeeter, Shavonda Smith. That's what I'm seeing on this end. I don't know, Tawana, if you have additional people that you see on your end. I want to acknowledge people. And also if we have any questions.
I see Daniel's here. Hi, Daniel. Who else do I have? Renee Gordon is here. MJ Webb is here with us. So welcome, everyone. Charlotte Van Horn is here.
I know Charlotte's going to call in on Friday if she can. This is right up her alley. So, Tawana, did we have any questions on your end? I don't see any questions on our end.
I don't see any questions.
This is also our live Q&A. If you have a question about the 10K project, we are inviting you to be a member. If you want to be a member, we are definitely inviting you to do that. I'm going to, Dr. Keisha or Eric, do you have anything else to say before I go to the community guidelines?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here again with all of you and just go over the community guidelines. It's going to take a minute, lickety-split. So we are a community of investors and entrepreneurs. Our discussions are going to emphasize investing, financial literacy, business news, Black investors and business stories, and any unrelated posts in our Facebook group, our YouTube channels, any other place, those are going to be removed. We know that there's a lot happening right now, politically, etc. We have to get approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Therefore, we've made a strategic decision to really focus on business and to leave politics, partisan politics, all of that out of what we're doing. Doesn't mean we don't care. It just means that we want to get through SEC approval, okay? Our culture is about Black empowerment. We will educate, encourage, and be patient and respectful and transparent, but we have zero tolerance for disruptive and disrespectful behavior. So any violators will be removed. We are an equity crowdfunding platform. We are seeking Securities and Exchange Commission approval. Therefore, we have to comply with the rules of the government. For entrepreneurs, if you are thinking of getting on the platform, please start researching if equity crowdfunding is a good fit for you. There are SEC guidelines with regards to the documents that you need. You need a business plan. There are other things that you're going to need in order to get on the platform to raise capital. This is a place of Black excellence. So excellence is required in everything that you do. And the final thing, investors, now's the time to start saving your discretionary income. We do not want you to put in mortgage money, rent money, life insurance money, emergency funds, you know, anything that helps you have a strong financial foundation. Those funds should not be used for the 10K project. We only want you to use the funds that you can afford to live without for 7 to 10 years and that you could ultimately afford to lose. Because if you don't do that, then, you know, well, we're going to need you to do that. I'm just going to keep it positive. We are going to need you to be fiscally responsible here. This is not a place where you can come and 2 months later take your money out. That is not this type of place. So that's the other reason why we wanted to keep the investments so low, because I have had a couple of people call me and say, Cherie, the price is too low. You should increase membership. You should increase the minimum required per investment. I've had the phone calls. And I said I would talk to the co-founders about it, but after I got off the phone with people, I'm like, that's not what we agreed to. And one of the things, Shawana's really shaking her head, she really was the one that's like, we got to keep this affordable for everybody. We want people to have a seat at the table. So because of that, we are being, you know, a little bit more lenient than some of my more established brothers and sisters out there. However, for that gift, we're going to need you to be fiscally responsible, because I don't want phone calls from people saying, I put money in 2 months ago and I need to get it out. The SEC has rules that will dictate that we can't do that.
And there is a period of time upon which you can cancel an investment, right?
Yes.
Those are built into the SEC rules. But we want you to be certain, you know, when you make that investment. That's why there's the pitch opportunity. There's the, you know, the communication you can have with the entrepreneur within the platform. There's research you should do on your own. The entrepreneurs have to provide financials and business plan, all of that, all those things that will help you make wise decisions, right? And when you make a wise decision up front, you don't have to come back later and say, can I get my money back, right? And that $100 is a minimum. You can go higher, right? Based on your income and based on your net worth. But it is very important that the mission of what we're trying to do, build a community and advance a people, right? That we keep that as affordable as possible. There are other platforms that have different minimums, and some even have a little lower, I've seen recently. And that's, you know, that's okay. But this is what we've decided makes the most sense for what we're trying to do within our ecosystem. This is not just about crowdfunding for us, right? There's a mission behind this that is really about advancing the population of Black people so that we can be better and so that we can allow and afford our children to have more, right? We think about the opportunity and the legacy. And I think last week, Cherie said something about inheritance. And when I got off, I chuckled. I was like, that's nice. If you come from a family with an inheritance, man, big ups to you. That's not my reality. But it can be, right? It absolutely can be. And that's what we need to remember this group is about. It's not just about dollars and cents. And so I feel strongly about the $100 membership fee. For everything Cherie listed on that slide, you know, from an education standpoint, I've paid thousands of dollars for some of that information already, right? The fact that we're providing that for $100, I don't know why you all are not already members. I really don't. I really don't know, because that's a lot for $100. Just that seat at the table itself is worth the $100, right? The ability to hear these investment opportunities is worth $100 and more. But then when you add all of these things Cherie put up on the slide, I mean, it's important that it's affordable, because we are trying to uplift a people. We are not just trying to make a dollar.
Okay. And may I add to that too, we're listening to our community. You know, where do you get that? You know what I mean? You know, we're listening to you and we're looking to support your needs as far as we can with regard to the walled garden of the SEC rules. But, you know, where do you get that? We like you're saying, Tawana, this is certainly more than just a crowdfunding site. This really is the birth of something brand new for a future generation beyond today. I mean, we're talking investment. That's where our mindsets are anyway. This is nothing that's going to turn over tomorrow. It might, that would be great, but most often than not so much. This is a long game. We've been here this long. Trust, we're going to be here again, but it's going to be nice on the other side. You know, that's the way I would suggest. We got to start somewhere. And this is organized well to do just that.
Yeah, and if this was about anything other than the people, we would have just done a regular, Black, GoFundMe like site, right? No SEC oversight, right? It would have been up already. We charge you a small fee for every good deed you do in investing in an entrepreneur, and we'd be done, right? That's not this. This is the long game. This is uplifting a people, some who are in poverty, some who are living paycheck to paycheck, some who are robbing Peter to pay Paul, and some who are middle class and in one or two paychecks away from all of those things I just mentioned, right? And so this is a bigger initiative. This is truly about doing our part to give back to the race that we all love with our whole hearts.
I'm sorry, I was muted here. You know, another thing, so I haven't been in corporate America for 15 years. However, I know that there are some people who have hit a glass ceiling in their corporate jobs. And I watched an interview. It was filmed 6 months ago, but I only watched it this past weekend because it came across my YouTube stream, and it was of Bob Johnson. And he was being interviewed by Carla Harris of Morgan Stanley. And if you don't know who she is, just Google her. She's huge within the Black high net worth community. And I thought about Bob Johnson because so I've been to the BET lot before. And, you know, I also think about people like Tyler Perry as well. The people at the top of those organizations looked like us. However, how often do you see the CEOs and the VPs of Fortune 500 companies look like us? There was a statistic that said that the only time you see any VPs looking like us, they're usually in a diversity hire. You're not CFOs. You're not, chief sales officers or anything like that. But in our own companies, with what Tyler Perry has done, I looked at the woman who is his chief operating officer. She's a regular Black woman, I'm sure she has superpowers. I'm sure she's really, really good at what she does.
Yeah,
however, for some of us, the opportunity to get that promotion that we're looking for, to get paid what we're worth. Think about Taraji P. Henson. She said she was not paid what she was worth until she did what? Went to Tyler Perry and worked for him. And when he was economically able to pay her what she was worth, which was, of course, years and years of being on the Chitlin circuit and getting small amounts of Black dollars. So in our ebook, I do talk about, the Black Baptist Church, and I talk about people like Tyler Perry and Mahalia Jackson, who for me is my favorite civil rights figure. Mahalia Jackson used to go to churches and raise funds so that Dr. King could keep up his work. It's one of those things where it's not really talked about, but she was just as part of the movement as he was on the front lines. And it came from what? Small dollars. So the 10K project can do the same thing, can be about small dollars making a huge lifetime impact. And before I let anybody else speak, members of the 10K project, this is a book called Family Wealth by James Hughes Jr. In this book, oh yeah, Tawana's got her copy. In this book, so this guy, James Hughes Jr., did a study where he talked to multiple families that had like intergenerational wealth and multi-generational wealth. And he found out how from one family to the next, they kept that wealth, how they trained their kids, how they set up their family banks, other stuff like that. So if you are a member, this is going to be one of the books that we're reading. If you're not a member, you want to have a real conversation, we're going to talk about this book from our point of view. This book was introduced to me by a retired colonel in the US Army. He took this book and he organized his family. They created a family bank. And after so many years, now they are investing and lending money in a way that I'm going to let him talk about. So he told me anytime I wanted to have him come and speak to a group, that he would do it. He has a president of his family structure. This is a Black man, okay? He has a president of his family structure. He's the treasurer. I'm going to ask both of them if they would mind coming to talk to us, but you must be a member to get an invitation to this. That single conversation is worth your lifetime membership. And that's just one conversation we're going to have with one Black family that's doing it. So if we don't think we can do it, that is completely wrong. I will also say this, not everyone we're going to learn from is going to be Black. We look, let's invite other people in here too to teach us some things we don't know. All we have to do is take it and say, okay, we need to tweak a couple of little things in order for it to apply to us and our families. No, we can't necessarily close a 200-year wealth gap in one generation, but guess what? We can get closer. And Tawana talked about inheritances. I'm going to be honest with you, my father did that for me in his own way. So I know a lot of you don't have inheritances, or you didn't have inheritances. That doesn't mean that your kids don't have to have that either. So let's break some of these generational cycles,
Diana said she has that book. So awesome.
Fantastic.
She said she's got that book already.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's on Amazon, so anybody and everybody can order it, and we're going to have the conversation in the members section. So Dr. Keisha, Eric, do you have any final comments?
I just wanted to say again that, as you guys mentioned, we really are here for the full span of our community. If you're just totally new to this and you're just looking for somewhere to invest your dollars, and like you mentioned, go deeper with it, where it's not just a donation, but you're investing and you're learning through the process, and you're actually gaining equity, potentially. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. Let's not be in a situation where we start to we have that the Negroes with egos kind of thing, let's just shut that down. Let's shut it down. Okay. And realize that we are really all here to learn, even those who are the accredited investor, all the way to the brand new person, and everyone in between. We all are learning, each one, we're here to support each other in this process. Like I said, that's great that you had inheritance. God bless us all, and now I'm looking at myself like I got to do better for my kids, but it just it has to start somewhere. It just really has to start somewhere. And like I said, this moment, guys, I'm excited to be a part of this group. Again, I just can't say it enough, because this moment is facilitating it. I just feel like if we don't come out of this moment any different, shame on us only. That's all I really can say.
That's a good point, Dr. Keisha. We can't blame anyone for this one.
Ooh, yeah, guys. So anyway, but I know we're going to do it, because this is what we do. We've already seen it. We've seen it in just a couple weeks. We've been talking about it for years, and boom, it's happened for real. And it's just going to. So I'm totally positive and excited about it. So let's go. Next person.
Well, a couple of things I'll wait until Friday for the talk, but one thing I will say, just another highlight from Black Wall Street. Black entrepreneurship played a big role in that success, and it will play a big role in this century too. So I just say that for us, and I'm just really proud to be a part of this, and just want to invite just everybody in. Like, let's all come in and let's build this thing together.
Yeah, there's a direct correlation between Black employment and Black business, a direct correlation. And part of the reason I was shocked, I didn't realize how much until we had started looking at some stats. That's a good part of the reason why we, especially our young men, it's very difficult for them. Yeah. So yeah, we got to fix that problem by fixing this. So Tawana, any final words before we sign off?
Just say the time is now and the people are us.
Amen. So the10kproject.com, the10kproject.com, or you can find us at weinvestblack.us. Either way, you get to us at weinvestblack.us or the10kproject.com. Stay stay connected with us. And on Friday, Juneteenth at noon, call-in show. We're going to be talking about Black Economics 2.0, and it's going to be a great conversation. So if you are available, definitely come in for that. So God bless everyone. I hope you have a fantastic week. And if you have any questions, always reach out to us. Take care.